TFA fam, yes. What is going on? Glad to be back with you guys. Excited for this week. Excited to chop it up with some props. It is Cody and Tom coming at you. You can find Tom on Twitter at Dynasty Infidel. You can find myself on Twitter at CKutzerFF if you would like to do such a thing. I feel good about the show tonight. We gave away the Allen Robinson jersey last night. We finally got someone to win that, and that was Dave, who is rocking with us in the chat right now. So Dave has the Allen Robinson jersey. We are going to be giving away the Keenan Allen jersey. If you were watching yesterday on the DFS show, it's going to be the same way that we break it down for the same way we give it away, rather, for tonight. I'm just going to throw out a question just throw it out into the universe. Whoever answers it first and answers it correctly is going to get the Keenan Allen jersey. It's as simple as that. We've been trying to give you guys these jerseys for a while, and it just kept not working. So, like O'Reilly said, fuck it, we'll do it live. Tom, Dave is also an Eagles fan. Got the A-Rob jersey.
That's good. Dave, we're going through some tough times at the moment, so stay strong. I will do the same.
It's not that bad, right?
It's bad. It's really bad. The Jets are in a better spot than the Eagles are, Code. Come on. I'm jealous of the Jags. I'm so jealous of the Jaguars. Like, really jealous.
Like for real.
Mm-hmm. Like, legit jealous.
Because number one overall pick or what?
Well, I think they have 5 picks in the top 64. They have 2 seconds. They have 2 firsts. They have their third. They have like $100 million in cap space.
Something you don't have.
No, we're like 70 over. So, yeah, it's bad.
You know what? Here's how we're going to give away the jersey. Speaking of all this draft talk, Tom obviously is on the Dynasty show with Robbie. They hold down the Dynasty side of things for us here at TFA. Obviously, I'm going to be turning my attention to the draft and rookies and all that in Dynasty as well. So we're gonna do. Here's how we're gonna do the question. 2 parts.
Hold on, are you doing the question right now?
Yeah, we're doing it right now. We're doing the question right now.
Well, why don't we wait until after we do the props so that way more people get in?
We have we're looking at 22 right now.
Oh, we got 22 already? I can't see how many people are in. Oh, yeah.
That's just on the YouTube. I don't know what's going on over there on the Twitter streets, and we're also on Twitch as well. So anyway, here it is.
Let's do it.
2-part question. 1, what college did Keenan Allen go to? And 2, what round was he drafted? Where did Keenan Allen go to college? What round was he drafted? First person who gets both those answers right is going to get the Keenan Allen jersey. That is actually being shipped. It's on its way to me right now from Pristine Auction in Arizona. So as soon as I get it, whoever gets this right, it'll be sent out to you. That the Allen Robinson jersey is going out on Tuesday to Dave. So, boom, William Ekman. No, wait, is Cal Berkeley is that the Maine? Is Cal Berkeley Maine? I think it's close enough, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
There it is. William Ekman. Cal in the 3rd round. Look at fucking Dave out here trying to win 2. Dave, let's not get greedy, buddy. All right, out here trying to get 2 jerseys. That is William Ekman is gonna get the jersey. William, send us an email. I'll drop it in the chat so you can just see it. But it is the Fantasy Authority 1 at Gmail. Send us your address, and we'll get that out to you as soon as I get it. And then we'll also make sure that I drop the tracking information in there for you as well. So we appreciate all you guys who have been rocking with us all year. It's been a lot of fun. Tom and I have been having a bunch of fun with this. So again, congrats to Dave for the Allen Robinson jersey and William Ekman for the Keenan Allen autographed jersey. Again, make sure you shoot us an email, William, with your address, and then we'll make sure we get that sent out to you. So glad those are finally gone. And then I just gotta, Ashton, I just have to put this out here that I was right about the Steelers. Just overhyped all year long, and then just got fucking snapped by the Browns. I hope it's not going to. It's going to take another year. We're gonna. We don't have time to get into this. Let's get into if we'll end up going, and me and you will just end up drinking and just crying about the state of our teams right now. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. I've been leading things off. I will lead things off again. We had Walito in the chat who just mentioned Nick Chubb's rushing prop. That is at 67.5. I like that. But I like his receiving prop slightly better. On DraftKings, it is at 12.5, and on FanDuel was it at 14.5. Slightly better odds on FanDuel at -108, and it is -120 on DK. Not that much of a difference for me, so I'll take the lower yards on DraftKings. Like I said, over 12.5. Listen, the Browns are sure to be trailing in this game. I think Chubb is going to get all the work that he can handle unless the Chiefs jumped out to 21-0, which is obviously within the realm of possibility. But even if that happens, Chubb has been getting more involved, in the passing game over the last 3 weeks. Obviously, at the beginning of the season and really up until week 10, it had been Hunt who had been running more routes, seeing more targets, all of that. But over the last 3 weeks, Chubb has run just 2 fewer routes than Kareem Hunt has, and he's been outproducing him across the board. So targets, receptions, and yards. And then to add on to that, the Chiefs have given up the 4th most catches to running backs during the regular season, and they actually gave up the 4th most receiving yards to running backs as well. They gave up like close to 850, and the next closest was the Lions, and they were like 70-something yards off, like 76 yards off. So should be able to get it done. We know that he can do it, even if he only sees like a target. We've seen him take 1 catch for, 20, 30 yards before. So Nick Chubb, over 12.5 receiving yards.
All right, I'm also going to go with a running back here, and it's another running back. I like the receiving yards. Cam Akers, 14.5 receiving yards on DraftKings. It's 17.5 on FanDuel. I also like his rushing, which is 70.5 on DraftKings and 73.5 on FanDuel. So, yeah, Cam Akers literally started the playoffs by carrying the Rams to a win. He was their only offense that they had. He went 28 for 131 with a touchdown, along with 2 catches for 45 yards. Sean McVay was literally back to having to hold the clipboard over his crotch so you couldn't see how excited he was. Right, Code? I saw it. Did you see it?
The little pants tent?
Yep, little pants tent. Yep, he was excited. So, Akers' last 5 games when he was healthy, he's averaging 22.8 carries a game. His prop for rushing attempts, by the way, is 16.5. If you want to take that, I don't mind it. I know a lot of people are going to be concerned about the game script. I think the Rams are going to keep it close because the Packers have struggled with teams that actually play zone. Factor in Jalen Ramsey on Devontae Adams, along with a healthy Aaron Donald, and I think we're going to have ourselves a fun football game. Cam could hit his over for both in the first half if he gets 12 carries, I think. The Green Bay run defense is their biggest weakness. They've allowed the 3rd most receiving yards to running backs as well. That's through the entire season. And the Packers are ranked 30th in yards before contact allowed per rush. So Akers is going to have some holes to run through. I have bets on both the yardage and the receiving. I think the receiving is the safer play, especially if I'm wrong about them keeping it close. But I think that the Rams are going to want to slow the game down, keep it out of Aaron Rodgers' hands, and just have Akers carry them.
Yeah, I agree. And I looked at the pace of play for both of these teams, and I didn't realize how slow the that Green Bay runs their offense. So, like, I don't really see this game getting out of hand with Ramsey, Aaron Donald being healthy, like you said, and the way that you're going to beat, if you're going to beat Green Bay, is by keeping it away from Aaron Rodgers, and the run defense for the Packers is obviously weaker than their pass. So I do like that one as well. Let's keep the running back theme going here, and I'm going back to the J.K. Dobbins well. This one is at 57.5 on DK and 59.5 on FanDuel. The odds are relatively similar. So again, I'll take the 2 fewer yards over on DK if you're able to, but 59.5 on FanDuel, I'd be fine if that's the only one that you have available to you. Dobbins had the 4th most runs of 15 plus yards among running backs during the regular season, and the Bills rank dead last in second level yards allowed per Football Outsiders. So basically, it just looks at the amount of yards that running backs are gaining once they clear. I think they set it at like 10 yards is what their standard is there. So I like this one. This is one that, I have questions with both of these defenses in one way or another. And I think that the Bills are going to have their hands full with Lamar Jackson, who's been looking really good as well, running the ball over the last couple of games heading into the playoffs. So I think they're going to have their hands full with this running game. So I like J.K. Dobbins over 57.5.
Yeah, I was actually toying with the idea of going with Lamar for one of my bets here. I do have a bet with him. I think his over 75.5, which is a lot, but at the same time, Buffalo was absolutely horrible against the run last week. They were the worst playoff team on PFF with a 58.6 grade. So I think if Dobbins gets more than 9 fucking carries, he should hit that over. So yeah, I like that one quite a bit there, Code. All right, my next bet is going to be Chris Godwin over 67.5 receiving yards. That's 67.5 on both sites. I also like Chris Godwin to score a touchdown, although that's not an official bet. Godwin has a touchdown in his last 5 games, so I like the trend to actually continue. I expect Marshawn Lattimore to be on Mike Evans, so Godwin will get the easier matchup with Gardner Johnson, who's the much weaker corner. I believe I called him garbage to you earlier in the week. So, Chris Godwin against garbage, I think, he'll do pretty well. The Saints shut down Tampa Bay in the first 2 games, but Godwin went 6 for 79 in the first game, and he went 3 for 41 in the second, but he was coming off that injury, so I don't think he was fully healthy. While the Saints defense has been good all season, they've actually allowed the 8th most yards receiving against the 8th most yards against wide receivers in the last 5 weeks. So I'm not counting last week because they played Mitch Trubisky, who is horrible at being a quarterback. Sorry, Kev. I expect Brady to throw early and often, so Godwin should have 10 plus targets. He had 12 last week, so I think that 67.5 should be pretty good.
I like that one as well. I like the touchdowns as well, and the catches I think are still sitting at plus odds on both sites. It's moved down slightly, but over 5.5 catches for Godwin is at, like I said, plus odds on both FanDuel and DK. If you want to take the touchdown, you have higher odds on DK than FanDuel. On DK, it's plus 180, and on FanDuel, it's plus 150. I like both of those as well. My last one, I'm going to the tight end, baby. It's going to be another good tight end week. going Mark Andrews over 54.5.
That's okay.
Yes.
I'll allow it.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad I have your blessing on this tight end one.
It's not like a tight end to get like 14 yards or something like that you're taking. So go ahead.
So Andrews over 54.5 on DK, over 56.5 on FanDuel. The odds on FanDuel are slightly better. That's at minus 112. The last time I looked on DK, it was at minus 134. So either way, I like both of those. The minus 134 is not gonna keep me away, especially whenever you look at the Bills' defense against tight ends. They've given up the most catches and the second most yards to tight ends, throughout the regular season. And then, like I was touching on, Lamar Jackson and that run game. Now you're going to be adding that in, and I'm assuming you have to keep a linebacker somewhat spying on Lamar Jackson in this case, especially given the state of their run defense. So that should open things up for Mark Andrews over the middle. Even more. I think Marquise Brown is going to struggle in this matchup. We saw him play really well. He finally smashed the over last week that we were both on. But Marquise Brown has only played like 18% of his snaps from the slot, so he's going to have his hands full with Trey White on the outside. So I'm kind of expecting Andrews to be the go-to guy in this matchup. And another touchdown one I like is Andrews, and that is plus 200 on DraftKings and plus 250 on FanDuel.
Ooh, no, I like it. Before we get to my last bet, Walito saying Akers, he likes the total yards at 87.5. That's minus 125. I do like that as well, but I would also bet the receiving just because it's 14.5, and I think he's going to easily get that. So my last bet is going to be Tyreek Hill. That is 81.5. I think it's 82.5 on FanDuel. You didn't really think I wasn't going to talk about Tyreek Hill this week, did you?
Not a chance.
No, if you didn't, you don't know me very well. We're basically just going to talk about Cleveland because you know enough about Tyreek and how good he's been. So I'm just going to tell you why the matchup's good for him. Last week, Cleveland allowed 501 yards to Pittsburgh. Granted, most of that was Pittsburgh playing from behind and throwing to catch up, but that is the Browns' biggest weakness. And mainly, it is fast receivers who are actually #good at football. So I'm going to go down a list of fast or good receivers that they played this year who lit them up. Hollywood Brown, week 1, 101 yards. Terry McLaurin, 83 in week 3. Amari Cooper, 134. CeeDee Lamb had 78, but he's playing out of the slot, so he doesn't necessarily count. But, again, that's two receivers that had a good day. T.Y. Hilton, who was absolutely washed, had 69 yards, so that doesn't necessarily count because he's like 87 years old, but he's still kind of fast. Week 10, they actually did a decent job against Houston. Brandon Cooks and Fuller had 39 and 38, but that game was an absolute yuck fest. Both quarterbacks had like 160 yards or something ridiculous. I don't know what happened. Might have been the weather. It was gross. Actually, you know what? That was the wind game. Remember all?
Yeah, there was like a stretch of 3 games where Cleveland was either playing like in a tornado or a monsoon.
Right. So that's what that was. Corey Davis had 182 yards. A.J. Brown had 87 in week 13, so they both hit that. I think you guys get my point. Add it all up, it points to Tyreek breaking loose. I like him to score a touchdown as well. But taking Tyreek to score a touchdown isn't exactly like breaking news or anything. So I like some studs to score some touchdowns this week. I have a fun parlay on DraftKings. DraftKings is giving you 125% boost. So I did it with this bet. It's KC to win, along with Akers, Godwin, and Lamar all to score. That was before Tyreek's props came out, or I would have included him. And I got those odds at like plus 1251 or something like that. So that's going to pay out pretty nicely. So if you're in the mood to do a touchdown only prop, get in there. You've heard Cody was talking about touchdowns too. So I think some studs are going to come through this week, and the touchdowns are actually a pretty safe play.
Yeah, there's a couple that I actually like, and what a great segue by you there, buddy. I'm going to continue the trend of the past couple weeks of me just rattling off a bunch of shit that I like, and then you guys can all yell at me. But we already talked about Godwin at plus 180, Gabe Davis at plus 300. If you want to go to like a longer shot one, I do like that one. And then another long shot one that I like, and I was kind of surprised to see him at plus 325, and that was Emmanuel Sanders to score a touchdown at plus 325. Last week, and I kind of like Manny Sanders receiving yards at 42.5. I like that over. And it's basically just because over the course of the regular season, Sanders played 34% of his snaps from the slot. Last week, he actually played 48% of his snaps from the slot. I think Michael Thomas was in like the low 30s, if I'm remembering correctly. But either way, whoever gets matched up in a slot this week, and I think Sanders will play a little bit more in the slot. Michael Thomas will move in too. But they're going to go up against Sean Murphy Bunting, who has just been absolute garbage shit can in terms of his production given up from the slot. There have been 14 cornerbacks this year during the regular season who gave up 400 or more yards from the slot, and Sean Murphy Bunting has given up the sixth most yards from the slot, and he has seen 7 fewer targets than the next closest corner, and he's also allowing an NFL passer rating of 126.9 whenever he's being targeted. And just if you guys don't know, a perfect passer rating in the NFL is 158.3. So whoever is lining up against Murphy Bunting in the slot is going to be able to eat. I think this game is going to be a bit of a shootout. Well, not a bit of a shootout. I think it's going to be a shootout. And I don't see either team really being able to effectively run the ball. So I think we get a bunch of passing production in this game. So Manny Sanders over his receiving yards, plus 325 on the touchdowns if you want to go for some longer odds. And then the last two that I want to mention, Austin Hooper, another tight end, over 45.5 receiving yards. And then Marquez Valdez-Scantling, over 23.5 receiving yards. That one, like, I don't feel super confident about, considering he's been so boom or bust this year. But with Adams having to deal with Jalen Ramsey, I don't think Adams gets completely shut out, but I also don't think we see the Adams like
180 yards, 6 touchdowns,
14 touchdowns, like that sort of thing. So I think they're going to have to open it up with some of these other players. And Valdez-Scantling can literally hit that on one catch. So that is one that I also like, but like one that I'm not going to be putting, $20-30 on either. That one will be one of my lower bets for the week.
Yeah, there's two more that I like. I like Kamara over 35.5 receiving yards. And then another one I think it's not getting enough play. Devin Singletary over 65.5 rushing and receiving yards. So there's no Zach Moss. So he's going to be the show. I like him to score a touchdown as well. A lot of touchdowns, obviously. But 65.5. So I know it's Baltimore, and they've been good against the run. But at the same time, Buffalo's still going to run the ball. So he's going to get volume. He's going to be a 3-down back here. So the 65.5, I think, is low enough where he can actually hit it, even if he doesn't have a great day on the ground. And I'm not sure what his receptions are. I didn't look that up. But if it's 2.5, which is what a lot of running backs.
I think it was, but that was like at minus like 170 or something. The last I looked, his receiving total was at 19.5.
Okay. Yeah, it's at 2.5 minus 167.
Okay.
One other one I was actually going to do in addition to Tyreek was Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas was at 65.5 yards for like 2 days. And I went to go in today to take it, and he popped up to 79.5. I was like, huh? What? What happened? So I still kind of like the 79.5 because
Yeah, I don't mind it.
he looked really good last week. He actually looked like Michael Thomas. So I think the Saints they're gonna throw quite a bit in that game. So I like it. I do like his receptions as well at 6.5 because he's gonna wind up getting the targets.
Yeah, I like those as well. And last one I'll throw. I know you were thinking about some Travis Kelce. Would you rather do his yards if they're like 86 or 87.5, or would you rather do the catches at 7.5?
I'd rather take the touchdown.
Dude, I'm glad you brought that up. His touchdown
It's
is at like
tutty week.
fucking. His touchdown though is at like minus 180 or something. Like I'm not going to do a touchdown for minus 180. So if you have FanDuel, I'm going to be paying really close attention to see if we can get a live line on FanDuel for his touchdown. And I hope that, you know what I mean, hopefully he doesn't just grab one right off the bat and that moves up to over 1.5, you know what I mean, throughout the game. So that's one I'm going to be paying close attention to because he should be able to just absolutely eat. But I think I'm leaning the catches over the yards.
I was gonna say I'm leaning the yards.
I really don't mind either of them.
Yeah, I don't either. I think Kelsey's gonna eat too. I think Kelsey and Tyreek are gonna eat. I don't think Cleveland's gonna be able to really slow them down. Cleveland's getting their COVID corners back, but at the same time,
doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters, and they haven't played in a couple weeks, so they're gonna be a little rusty.
I could see them coming out slow at first.
And you don't want to come out slow against Tyreek.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Kansas City starting off slow.
No. I was talking about the COVID corners from Cleveland.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Yeah, by the way, I am now immune to all diseases because I got my vaccine. So I'm immune to everything. So go ahead and cough on me, whatever. I'm good.
I really don't think took a vaccine for you to be immune. I think you were a cesspool to begin with. Anyway,
what do you mean anyway? By the way, I think a side effect is actually being perfect. So let's be perfect. All right.
Well, I haven't seen that, but hopefully you're right.
I want you to be perfect this week. That's what I want.
Yeah. I'm happy coasting with my 66.7%, my 2 out of 3, considering I had such a shit run in the middle of the year where I was just literally 1 out of 3 for like 5 weeks in a row. But anyway, let's jump into the chat. I'll
take my 80% hit rate.
Fuck off. Let's jump into the chat and see what some of you folks are talking about. Brian joining us. Brian's been with us for a couple of weeks now. Seems, obviously we were talking about the Chiefs leading this game. The Browns are 10-point dogs. What do you think about Baker's over 259.5 passing yards?
So KC's secondary is actually pretty good. I'm not sure where Baker's going to get all the yards. I will get back to you on it because I'm going to look up how many times Baker's actually gone over that number.
Over the last several weeks into the season, when once they actually opened up the offense, once they weren't dealing with the monsoons in Cleveland, he was putting up some solid numbers. I can't remember how many times he hit that, but I know that he was around like the 250 to like 275 range for a good chunk of like the last like 5 or 6 games. I want to say if I'm.
Okay, so from week 12, he had 258, 334, 343, 297, 285. He had 196 against Pittsburgh, but that game didn't matter. And then he had, it did matter. My bad.
That was the game that Nick Chubb was just doing whatever the hell he wanted, though.
And then he had 263 last week. So, you know what? I think I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good line. I'm not sure.
I like it.
That's one again where, like, if you're playing FanDuel or if you have the live player props available to
Player
you,
plops.
plopping player
Cleveland's
props.
definitely going to be plopping Browns.
Yes, that
You're
is
welcome.
low hanging fruit.
You're welcome.
Apparently, there's no Rojo again, so Alito is throwing out Fournette over 38.5.
I don't know. I don't bet on Leonard Fournette. Stop it, you degenerate.
I mean, it's low enough, I guess, and he did it last week against a good run defense. Obviously, New Orleans has a good run defense. I, I don't know. There's other things in that game I'd rather take. Like he absolutely could hit it, but like, would it really surprise you if he ended up with like a 10 for 35 kind of a line? 12 for 35, because that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't surprise me. Jam Bam is saying that Akers is 75 rushing yards and 18 receiving yards. I believe I saw 17.5 earlier. I guess you're talking about FanDuel. And maybe 74.5 rushing yards. Yeah, I think they're fine, because I think Akers is going to have one of those longer receptions that he's had the last couple weeks. So yeah, I'm good with that.
Let's see, FanDuel is 17.5. I think that, what did you say it was on DK?
DraftKings is still 70.5. It didn't move.
Oh, you're talking total. But wasn't he talking receiving?
No. He was talking about both. He was talking about the rushing and the receiving.
So receiving only is 14.5 for Akers.
On DraftKings.
Yes. Total is 87.5 for
Right.
rushing and receiving. And then rushing and receiving on FanDuel, 94.5.
Okay. And when I checked right before we got on the show, he was 73.5 rushing on FanDuel. So if it moved up a point, then okay. But I still like it.
His rushing is 73.5.
Okay.
Ashton, do we play Dynasty? If so,
Oh, indeed.
What platform? Yes, we do. My fantasy league is the one that we normally play all of ours on. You do have to pay for it. But if you have a 12-team league and you split that up amongst the league, it ends up coming out to be like $7 per person, $5 to $7. It does take a little bit to kind of get used to, but Sleeper is the other one where you can play free. The mobile app for Sleeper is way better. The mobile app for my fantasy league is just absolute dog shit.
Don't use the mobile app.
No,
just use the mobile site. The mobile site's fine.
The mobile site's fine, and once you know where to go, it's super easy, and like a lot of the things will start making sense to you. So my fantasy league is the one that I would suggest if you're doing it, I guess, just to get a feel for it with like your buddies that you do redraft with. Maybe for the first year, you could do something on like Sleeper, or like ESPN has free Dynasty as well. But I've heard with ESPN, the site like shuts down during the off season. So if there are any trades that take place, the commissioner is going to have to keep track of that like separately. And then whenever it opens back up, you're going to have to go through and do all that shit manually. So I would do Sleeper if you're going to do a free one. If all of your buddies are down to do it, I would definitely do my fantasy league over Sleeper.
Yeah, we actually, so my co-host and I, Robbie Jeffries, NFL Robbie, we just had a Dynasty 101 show. We're going to have, that's a new series where we're going to go over some Dynasty strategy. What last episode we went over, like what Dynasty is. We hit on sites that, we use. My fantasy league was a big one. The cool aspect about that is how customizable it is as far as scoring systems. You can basically do anything you want. And then the other thing is, if you turn into a degenerate like me and most of you, because if you play Dynasty, you go down a rabbit hole essentially, where you might want to start doing Devy leagues, which is when you draft college players and then they're on your team when they graduate. So you can create those guys. I don't think you can do that on Sleeper. I don't think you can do that on any other site. So that's a really cool aspect of my fantasy league there. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, make sure if you're new to Dynasty, make sure you check out the Dynasty 101 videos that Tom and Robbie are doing. Like he was just mentioning, we're starting a playlist on our YouTube channel. So if you just want to go and see those, there's only one up right now, but they're planning on doing one every time they record, and they normally record a new podcast every week. So hopefully we'll have at least one of those coming out for you each week. Like I said, that'll all be on their own separate playlist. So you can just go right to the Fantasy Authorities YouTube channel, look at our playlist, and there's going to be one that just says Dynasty 101. And you can just click right into there. You can obviously always hit us up on Twitter as well, Tom at Dynasty Infidel and myself at CKlitzerFF if you have any questions, or you can just drop them on one of the YouTube videos, and we'll make sure that we get back to you on there. So I guess this is kind of going back to what you were just talking about with Jam Bam. If you had to choose one Acres prop, which one would you take?
I would take the receiving yards.
Would you parlay the touchdown with it?
If it's a same game parlay with a FanDuel, I would do all three.
There you go. I do like Gabriel Davis over 26.5. I didn't want to rattle that one off as well and give you 18 props in addition to the three they already talked about. But I do like Gabriel Davis over 26.5. And if you're going to do that, you might as well take his receptions as well. They're at plus odds at 2.5. So I do like both of those. The only thing that semi worries me with that is the fact that he really didn't play that many snaps last week. Even though John Brown put up the old gooser, the old donut, he actually played more snaps than Diggs did. He was first, and then Diggs was second. So, and I think Davis was down on like 40% snaps, I think. But either way, he's a big play threat. He's same thing with Valdez Scantling. Like it'd take one catch and he could hit that over. So I do like that one as well.
Yeah. Jam Bam, you said I need to start one Dynasty 2 for ideas. If you guys want to see like scoring systems or like what a league looks like on my fantasy league, just DM me. Dynasty Infidel, my DMs are open, and I'll send you one of my leagues, or I'll send you a couple of my leagues, and I can do the ones that I run, so that way you can see the scoring systems and everything, and I can kind of walk you through it if you have any questions.
Yeah, don't be intimidated by it. That was one of the reasons why we wanted to start the Dynasty 101, because if like you were just to like jump into like Dynasty Twitter, you're gonna see pipelines and devies and this and that. Like
Right.
you don't have to make it crazy. You can literally just take your regular redraft scoring and just make it a Dynasty league. Like it doesn't
Right.
have to be super insane. Like my home Dynasty league, we start one quarterback and then 5 flex spots. Just a single quarterback. We have 5 flex. Recently, that was it. Like I said, it was a home Dynasty league. It's just like regular PPR scoring. We did add a small Devy component a couple years ago, but for like the first 2 or 3 years, that was it. Just pretty basic. So it can be as crazy or as simple as you want it to be. Alex Rangel, Beasley over 47.5.
Beazles Magoo.
I don't mind that one.
I do not. What are his receptions? Probably 4.5, 5.5.
Show me what you got here. 3.5, but that's at minus 175 on DK.
Not even worth taking.
No, take
unless you parlay it.
Yeah, but even with that, I think I'd rather just take the yards. I don't mind the yards. Humphrey has been, whenever they move him into the slot, he's been on and off. There are some games where he's locked down, playing really well. And there's other games where, where he can definitely be beat. I don't mind that. If you're going to do one of those, I think I'd rather just take Gabriel Davis over 26.5. I feel better about that one than Beasley, because Beasley could also go out and get 6 for 40. You know what I mean?
Right.
Five for 45, one of those kind of games. But I don't mind it. If you feel good about it, if you're saying that's a 99%er, go ahead and lock it in.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm Brown under 14.5 receiving yards. Yeah. I mean, I think you could.
Yeah, I think Akers is going to get majority of the work. So in those snaps that he gets in, I mean, he might get in for what, 15, 20 snaps tops?
Yeah.
So, yes.
Okay, that was
Burgundy?
It was William Eckerman. William Ekman won the Keenan Allen jersey, so hopefully he will be shooting us an email soon. Henrock, Lamar over 197.5 passing yards.
His passing numbers have been tough to predict lately because of his rushing. I don't mind the 197 at all because I feel like this game could wind up being a shootout. I believe it is the largest over of the week. So the 197 with Andrews, I feel like he's going to have a good day. I feel like Hollywood could still have a good day as well. But aside from that, I'm not sure who really gets all the receiving yards. I actually like Dobbins to work out of the backfield as well. That's close. I think that's right where the line should be.
If this year, obviously, his passing has taken a hit. He hasn't since week 10, he's only gone over that total twice. 249 against the Pats, and then 243 against Jacksonville. So it's so hard. He's been using his legs so much more efficiently, and he's been getting those rushes that he wasn't necessarily getting at the beginning of the season. Like I said, I don't like Hollywood on the outside with that matchup. So you're talking Willie Snead and Mark Andrews are going to have to get you there. I don't think I would go there.
And since he basically came back from COVID, and he's been using his legs, they've won 6 straight games. So I don't think that's going to change there. They're going to be primarily throwing the ball. And he also hasn't had more than 26 passing attempts, and he hasn't had more than 17 completions. So if you think he's going to be able to do it in 17 completions, that means he's hitting some really big plays.
Yeah, and I'm not going to call for the Miles Boykin blow-up game. Why aren't they using Devin Duvernay more?
I don't know.
Speaking of dynasty, I think he is a sneaky, very cheap buy. He's not going to cost you a lot. So even if he doesn't pan out, probably a third might get it done for Duvernay.
It should.
Boom. If he doesn't end up panning out, 3rd-round picks for your rookie drafts don't pan out all that much anyway. So I would roll the dice on that. Brian giving us some props on the props. Appreciate you, Brian.
My man.
I was in 8 or 9 dynasties this past year. I think I was in 15 total, but one of those was SFB I was in the Scott Fish Bowl again this year. And then I had Tom runs a guillotine league, which are a lot of fun. If any of your buddies are talking about a guillotine league, maybe we'll do one of those for TFA this year. Those were that was a lot of fun.
So we're going to wind up, it's called Chopping Block, and we're going to wind up expanding that this year. We're going to have multiple divisions and conferences and whatnot. So it was 16 teams or 17 teams. 17 teams last year. That's the way Guillotine League works. And basically, the lowest scoring team winds up getting chopped. So you're then out. And all those players go back into the free agency pool, and the remaining teams can bid on them. So last year we're going to do it all for charity. The winner's going to get a trophy or a belt. That's how that's going to work. So we do it on My Fantasy League, and it's like $6 a person for the actual league, and then league trophy or something like that. I forget how much that is. And then we want you guys to donate at least $25. Last year was a charity of your choosing. We might choose a charity this year and basically say, okay, donate here, and then just keep like a running tally of what we're going to do. But yeah, we'll be running that again this year. So we could have like a TFA division or something like that in Chopping Block. So like a TFA Chopping Block division, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, those are a lot of fun. Like in terms of like formats, I think it's my second favorite. Like Dynasty and then Guillotine leagues. They're a lot of fun.
And I tell you right now, I'm a mad scientist when it comes to screwed up scoring systems, and the one I have coming up this year will be like nothing you have ever seen. Ever.
Fantastic.
You will never have played this.
Well, Lito talking to Kev, but I guess we could just answer this. Kev is smashing the over, but what do you think about we kind of touched on this a little bit, but Kelsey over 86.5?
Yeah, I mean, I like Kelsey and I like Tyreek.
Yeah, I like like I said, I like the receptions. Because I think on DK the odds were pretty low for Kelsey's receiving yards. 86.5 at minus 150.
Yeah.
On FanDuel, they were 87.5, I believe, and that was at like minus 120. I want to say, I can pull this up real quick. If you want to take a touchdown on Kelsey before the game, he's at minus 145 on FanDuel. If you want to do that, like I said, I'm going to be waiting for a live line. I'm hoping that Kelsey doesn't just come out and score one right off the bat. But Kelsey's receiving is at 87.5 at minus 118 on FanDuel. So if you have FanDuel available to you, if you're already taking the over on 86.5, you're going to take it on 87.5. And I'd much rather hit minus 118 than minus what did I say? Minus 150. I said it was.
Yeah.
Lamar's touchdowns. Do you know what that is off the top of your head?
105, because I took a Lamar touchdown. That's on DraftKings.
And that's a plus 105 too.
That's what I said.
Nice.
That's what I said. Yep, plus 105.
Yeah, Bovada is minus 200. Jam Bam was on Bovada minus 200. Yeah, I don't know if Bovada does live player props, but wait until the game is underway. Hopefully Cleveland gets the ball first, and then look for that Kelsey touchdown. There's literally just no reason to take that. So, Tom, you have anything else?
No, I don't. Do you?
I do not. Like I said, William, make sure that you email us, the fantasyauthority1@gmail.com, so we can send you that jersey once it is in my possession. Dave got the Allen Robinson jersey, so congratulations to you both. We appreciate you guys rocking with us all year. It's been a lot of fun for us. We're going to do next week? We'll do next week.
Yeah, we're going to do next week. Next week, we can probably we'll wind up doing on Saturday because games are both on Sunday. And then our Super Bowl show, we'll have a lot of props to choose from.
Yeah, those ones those ones always get wild and just dumb.
It's almost overwhelming.
Yeah, like talk about Gatorade colors and the length of the national anthem.
Oh, yeah.
All that crazy stuff. So good luck to you guys this week. Any questions you have, make sure you drop them in the chat. For everyone who was talking about Dynasty, make sure you check out the Dynasty 101 videos on top of everything else we're going to be sending your guys' way. You can find the Dynasty show on podcasts. If you're listening to podcasts, we're on Apple, Stitcher, Google, basically anywhere that you can get your pods. You can check out the TF8 Dino show on podcast form as well. And then we're going to be kicking things up on the website. So there's no reason for you guys to miss out on any of our content, no matter how you guys consume it. Website, podcast, videos. We're going to be doing more on Twitter and Instagram as well with just some different pictures and stuff. So follow us everywhere. We appreciate all you guys. If you're not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Like I said, any questions you got, drop them. Reach out to Tom. Reach out to myself at CKutzerFF, at Dynasty Infidel for Tom. And we will talk to you guys soon. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.